The unexpected death of a Penn Hills police officer is drawing new attention to the potential dangers of a popular eyesight procedure. Studies have cited a number of instances where LASIK eye surgery patients died by suicide after suffering unbearable pain and vision impairments following the procedures.
Pittsburgh's Action News 4 reporter Marcy Cipriani spoke exclusively to Officer Ryan Kingerski's parents about their incredible loss and their message to protect others.
He lived life with such a zest.
Ryan Kingerski was 26 years old.
The world was a better place with him in it.
And so loved. Tim and Stephanie Kingerski say without him, they're lost.
Nothing feels right. Nothing.
Can't sleep. Don't
Not
eat.
sleep.
Just think about what could have been.
Their grief is still so fresh. When we sat down together, it had only been a little more than 2 weeks since their son Ryan took his life. He had been suffering debilitating, nonstop pain since undergoing LASIK eye surgery.
It ruined his life. It completely ruined his life in 12 seconds.
Tim and Stephanie say since the surgery in August, Ryan was living with excruciating headaches, double vision, dark spots floating in his eyesight, and extreme sensitivity. They found themselves going from one specialist to another.
You know, it was one disappointment after another.
With no relief. The Kingerskis say Ryan's days were becoming dark. He was no longer the happy, outgoing man he always was. Ryan Kingerski was a twin who had an incredibly close bond with his brother Jacob, and they were both following in their father Tim's path, becoming police officers. Ryan had been a Penn Hills police officer for 3 years, and his parents say he lived to serve. But his sudden pain and change in vision kept him from work too.
One of his exact quotes was, "I'm paralyzed without being paralyzed," was what he would say. Which wasn't supposed to be that way. It was supposed to be, have this safe and effective surgery, and you'll be back to work in a couple of days, and you'll be able to move on with your life.
But he and his family were learning that was not the case, and they were not alone. Ryan started reaching out, seeking help, and finding others who suffered similar complications, and warning others online that there can be life-changing complications from LASIK. These are his words. Ryan's parents say he was never warned of the danger before his surgery.
When they make a slice through that, they mess everything up.
Morris Waxler is the former head of the FDA branch responsible for reviewing data and approving LASIK decades ago. He says when he signed off, it was an agreement for 100 clinical trials. Waxler says he left the FDA not long after and in recent years petitioned the FDA to voluntarily recall its approval, which was denied. But he says the complications, as the Kingerskis know, are real.
They cut nerves. Then, in addition, they take out a divot, which removes all the support structure, or a lot of the support structure, not all of it. Sometimes it grows back, sometimes it doesn't go back, sometimes it goes back poorly, sometimes it usually is a problem. Some people it's a bigger problem than others.
Despite Waxler's warnings, millions of Americans choose LASIK surgery. According to the American Refractive Surgery Council, LASIK has a 96% patient satisfaction rate. They report, quote, "It is estimated that far less than 1% of patients suffer sight-threatening complications from LASIK." But Stephanie and Tim Kingerski say their son was one of them, and they say he was never warned he could be.
And Ryan would be here if all he did was tell him the truth.
The Kingerskis tell me Ryan learned after the surgery, when he was struggling, that his eye exam before the surgery showed he shouldn't have been a candidate.
My heart just breaks.
And since Ryan's passing, his parents have found others suffered from LASIK complications too before they took their life.
I am struggling a little bit, so I do still need all the prayers and the well wishes because this is a hard go.
Detroit meteorologist Jessica Starr publicly talked about her struggles after laser eye surgery before ending her life. College student Max Cronin described his pain as needles in his eyes, according to his mom. She says in the note he left behind, Cronin wrote that he could no longer live with the pain.
At some point, hopefully the FDA says there's a problem.
Yeah.
There's something
Right to the FDA.
Yeah, we need to do something.
That is the Kingerskis' mission now. They're sharing Ryan's story online and reaching millions.
Let's try to get through the hours, hour by hour.
It is torture,
As painful as it is, they are Ryan's voice.
but it doesn't feel enough.
And,
We
you know,
just
and
we
of
just want to
course-
see our boy.
Everybody's going to judge him, for what happened, but it wasn't him. It wasn't him.
Ryan Kingerski's parents say he was a public servant who smiled all the time, loved his family, spending time with children, and life.
He was a very good hockey player for many years.
Had a girlfriend.
Had a beautiful,
Wonderful girlfriend.
wonderful girlfriend.
It ruined his life.
But not his mission. Dad and Mom are continuing that for him.
And he didn't want anyone else to ever feel the same way. And he wanted people to know the facts.
This is something that needs to be brought to the forefront, that either, I don't care if it's the FDA, other doctors, whatever the case may be, but
Speak
this
up.
needs to be, brought up so that people know, because they're not being informed, they're not being told the truth, and things are being left out when you go in for a 10-minute consultation, and the next thing you know, they're burning your eye with a laser. These doctors get to go home and talk to their kids at the dinner table. I have to go to the cemetery.
And through their unimaginable pain, Tim and Stephanie Kingerski are honoring Ryan's life by fighting like they say he would for everyone else who may be struggling too.
My message is to everyone that's out there now. If you have complications and are having issues, reach out, let us help you. I don't know what we can do other than to support you, but you are not alone.
The Kingerskis are encouraging anyone who has had complications after LASIK to fill out a MedWatch form. The information goes straight to the FDA. We have a link to that form, as well as information on support groups and suicide prevention at WTAE.com. Marcy Cipriani, Pittsburgh's Action News 4.
And on that note, if you or someone you know is struggling, remember you are not alone. There is help. You can reach out to a friend or a family member or a mental health professional. You can call or text 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Trained crisis counselors are there 24/7 to listen and to help.